Hi, my name is Caleb Wilcox. I'm a registered dietitian. A lot of times when people have diabetes or they're diagnosed with diabetes, they think that they can't have carbohydrates anymore. Well, that's not necessarily the case. You can still have carbohydrates, but just in smaller amounts because your body is not as sensitive to absorbing them as they were before. Now, fruits are usually the big one that I hear people say, I can't eat that. That's not the case, particularly because they're full of other health benefits. So something like an apple, it's full of vitamin C, and something that could be the best for diabetes, fiber. Fiber is going to help with insulin sensitivity. It can help lower LDL cholesterol. It can improve gut health, and it can help provide a feeling of fullness for people. Another fruit is an orange. So a lot of times people will ask, why can't I just drink orange juice? Well, when it comes to orange juice, what happens is they actually squeeze out all of the juice that would normally be found in an orange, and you're missing a lot of the pulp, the fiber, and some of the vitamins and minerals that would still be left over that you would normally get when eating a whole orange. Next is the lemon. Lemon is actually a lower carbohydrate fruit and can be a great way to add some flavor to water. A lot of times with people who are diabetics, they come into a problem where they're having a harder time adjusting to drinking more water. So by adding lemon to a drink, you're actually keeping it low in carbohydrate and still adding a little bit of flavor to it. Next, I want to talk about starchy vegetables. Frequently, when people are diagnosed with diabetes, you hear, well, I can't have things like potatoes because they're high in carbohydrates, they're high in calories, they're gonna make my blood sugar increase. While that can be true, especially when you consume them in excess, we wanna focus on having smaller portions of them. But they do also contain fiber, and they do contain potassium. Especially if you're eating the skin of the potato, you're gonna get some additional fiber from that. So if you knock out potatoes from your diet completely, you're gonna be missing out on things like potassium and fiber that you would be getting if you were eating them on a normal diet. Next, I want to touch on some additional starchy vegetables we want to add into our diet. So things like corn, beans, and peas. Corn is technically considered a grain, but we lump it into the starchy vegetable category. It's high in B vitamins, so we want to make sure we add those in because they're essential for health. We do want to make sure we're also getting some beans and peas. Beans and peas are high in fiber and protein, so adding that protein into the diet slows down the absorption of blood sugar, and as many of us know, protein is essential for health in being the building block for the body. Lastly, I want to talk about non-starchy vegetables. Now, non-starchy vegetables, these are the ones that we want to make up at least half of your plate because they're very low in carbohydrates and they're very high in fiber, as well as being high in vitamins and minerals. So a lot of times when people think about non-starchy vegetables, they think about leafy greens, things like cabbage or green beans, but that's not necessarily the case. Think about all the other colorful options that you could add. So things like tomatoes, squash, onions, peppers. These are all great ways to add some additional flavor to your meals so that way you don't feel like you're always relegated to something like a salad. Remember these three things. When grocery shopping or planning your meals, make sure your fruits and vegetables are coming from a wide array of colors. As my great-grandmother used to say, a colorful plate is a healthy plate. So think about each color as a different vitamin or mineral that you could be getting from the food. Next, think about half of your plate being from non-starchy vegetables. The non-starchy vegetables are the ones that are lower in carbohydrates and higher in fiber, so they shouldn't affect your blood sugar as much. And lastly, make sure that a quarter of your plate is coming from either a whole grain or a starchy vegetable. This will help control how many carbohydrates you're getting within the meal.